if you had to like make a guess, what do you think is the worst holiday movie of all time? And I'm talking about like since the beginning of telling Christmas stories, like around a fire when that's all there was to do.
Well, you know that I feel It's a Wonderful Life. It's the worst Christmas movie.
Yeah, and you know you're
time.
completely outnumbered on that classic. No, the answer is Love Actually.
How dare you?
The worst movie. Sometimes I don't even think it's fair just to say worst Christmas movie, just to say worst movie.
Wow.
Just
wow.
Worst movie.
Lisa Christiansen, those are fighting words. And
Yeah.
we're going to save those fighting words for our first live taping at the Rio Theater.
Yes, I am very excited about this. And as Pop This listeners know, this is a perennial debate.
An annual fight, if you will.
It's just something we enjoy doing every year.
This time, we are only fighting about Love Actually. Is it the best or worst Christmas movie of all time?
Yeah, well.
So joining us for our live recording, wonderful comedian and author Alicia Tobin, also recent guest on the podcast.
My side.
And also senior programmer and writer Rachel Fox from the Rio Theater. And on my side.
What did you do to get her to go on your
I'll
side?
never tell.
Yeah, I bet you won't.
So, Sunday, December 15th, doors at 6 p.m. We're going to do the live podcast recording at 6:30, and then at 7:45, a full screening of Love Actually.
And I think half the audience might leave, but they can come with me somewhere.
Wow, I can't wait. I think it's going to be fantastic.
It is. It's a Christmas holiday tradition. You'll want to make one of your own.
I can't wait to fight with you.
I'm ready.
I feel it in my fingers.
I feel it in my... No, you're not going to... No.
You're on my side now.
No.
You're listening to Pop This, the podcast where two women talk about everything pop culture. Here are your hosts, Lisa Christiansen and Andrea Warner.
So it's the year end.
It sure is.
And more importantly, which I forget because these years are weird, it's the decade end.
I have had to do a lot of year-end and decade end sort of planning with like my work and stuff. And is that sort of what you've been doing, or just like sort of
but also
consuming
I
those
just
lists?
feel like I haven't got in my head like I can do like that was the 50s, that was the 60s, that was the 70s, and I can say it and kind of come up with a song or a movie and a fashion sense. But what are we calling this? The 2010s?
This is the 2010s because
the 2010s.
We still have people around who remember the 1910s, so we can't really,
Yeah, so we're calling these the 2010s. And then we had the aughts. Was that the?
Yeah, that was the aughts.
The aughts.
That, yeah.
Which I honestly, if you were to make me try and distinguish between the 2010s and the aughts, I don't know if I could. You?
I can now.
because you've been...
now because I've been thinking about it so much.
Yeah.
Mostly because we were all sort of like, okay. Can you imagine this sort of like a simple fact that like Justin Bieber's whole career has been the 2010s?
Right.
Like, Call Me Maybe came out in 2012.
Yeah.
Like there are whole...
Was it really
2012.
Wow. Yeah.
Well, 2011 technically, but it got its American release in 2012.
Right, okay.
But anyways, like just like all of that has suddenly happened in the last 9 years.
Yeah.
That's wild to me.
Yeah.
Like I know that I shouldn't maybe necessarily like measure my life in pop songs, but I think that's a fine measurement. Fine. Like,
I have a very, very clear memory of 2008 on a Friday night of going to the video store. That is a big...
That's in the last 10 years, that's...
And I think it was in 2013, if I'm not wrong on this, when House of Cards came out on Netflix. Is that right?
Oh, maybe. It feels like earlier, maybe even, but because I feel like Kevin Spacey's been sort of done for 2 years
Yeah,
now.
but in terms of it, like Netflix was there, but in terms of starting that original programming.
Oh, yeah.
And then all of a sudden it got nominated for an Emmy and everyone was like, what?
What is even happening?
And now that's all we do is watch.
It's very normal.
Now I go to my dentist and they have like Netflix in the ceiling.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that we don't necessarily give enough credit to the speed at which actually the last 2 decades have happened. Like, and, and I mean, I know we don't normally transition this early, but this movie that we're about to talk about, what a time capsule of 1999/2000. Like,
even for technology, for everything.
Everything. I know it came out in 2000, but like the sort of the things that were like jokingly acceptable in 2000, but you can see where we're about to go.
Yes.
I think.
Yes.
Culturally, in which I can't even believe I'm saying when it's a movie like Charlie's Angels that we're going to talk about.
Charlie's Angels. And it's weird too, because when you look it up, there's so many, like there's just the new one just came out.
Yeah.
The reboot, which was considered to be part of the TV series. Is that how that worked?
I think it's like a continuing thread from the TV series,
right.
Whereas like our 2000 Charlie's Angels is a whole fresh take.
Yeah, and then there was another one, the Full Throttle.
Yeah.
And then there was a talk of a third, right?
There was talk of a third, but apparently it never happened. Yeah,
it didn't happen.
But
and
I
now
can't believe
this.
that we are. But honestly, like in terms of sort of measuring how fast the last 20 years have changed things, Charlie's Angels is actually not a bad indicator of where we were, how far we've come, and how far we still have yet to go. I'm Andrea Warner.
I'm Lisa Christiansen.
And you're listening to Pop This.
Yes, and I just have to say that I just want to start with this because it horrified me. But seeing Sam Rockwell try to be a sexy man is probably one of the more disturbing things I've ever seen in a movie.
Sam Rockwell might be part of like so I would have been 21 when this movie came out. Sam Rockwell was absolutely a huge crush for me. And this movie is a huge part of like a real sexual awakening. A real vibe for me. And it really fits in, that I've talked about this a lot this year, and I'm so sorry for all the listeners, but like my horny 40s.
Yeah.
This is a real
so you and I were having completely different experiences.
Every time he sexy evil danced, I was like, putter. Yeah, I just could not.
If we could,
gross, disgusting.
There's different ways to discuss this movie, and I know I'm not doing it the proper way.
You're just doing vomit emojis.
I'm just that the things that I wrote down in my notes were also Kelly's hair.
Yeah, Kelly Lynch has not done any favors with this hair, this outfit.
I don't understand the hair.
I think it is supposed to. It's supposed to like. It's a very specific sort of like, again, year 2000, like lady who means business haircut.
It like a really like awkward shag meant business.
Well, it's a terrible like flattening of the Rachel haircut. Like it really it's Rachel with bangs.
Yeah,
so that's not good.
Okay, there we go. Okay.
Yeah.
I just had to get those two things out of the way, and then we can have a proper discussion.
Can we go back to talking about Sam Rockwell dancing?
With that low-cut black, like...
I love the low-cut black thing. Okay, so this is going to be maybe one of the weirdest things.
Is this going to be one of your masturbation stories? Because I don't want to...
Hey, I've never told any of my personal masturbation stories. It's only people who randomly masturbated in my bed.
It's more than the masturbation stories I've ever told. That's all I...
Fair. No, I'm not really like a this is a lot of information. I'm not really like a visual masturbator.
But has Sam Rockwell in your head ever delivered a pizza or anything?
No, it's never been that. Andrea Gin is dying, I think. Anyway, yeah, like just like visuals don't really do it for me. I like a little more intellectual rigor. Anyways, yes, just furiously using books in place of sex toys. I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding.
That's what you meant by intellectual vigor.
Yeah.
So you like paperbacks better than hardcovers?
I like a hardcover, frankly.
Oh,
I know.
well.
I know, it's a lot.
Oh,
anyways,
okay.
But Sam Rockwell. Okay, I just want to say, so like this low cut like top should not work on anyone.
It doesn't. I'm here to tell you. No, it does not.
And the drape of his pants is very intoxicating.
It's a very sad Miami Vice holdover look. It really is.
I know. And I think
Did Don Johnson do something for you too?
No, and that's the thing. Like, it's just, apparently I don't like a pastel, but I'm fine with like a minimalist, like monochromatic look. But in the post credits where he does the splits,
Yeah.
I was like, I can't believe they cut that. That's incredibly sexy. So yeah, him as a bad guy. I mean, I'm also gonna say, weirdly enough, I also sort of had a crush on Crispin Glover. So this movie is really a double.
Yeah, I understand the Crispin Glover one.
What? How do you understand the Crispin Glover part?
No, in the movie.
Oh, in the movie. Okay.
Yeah.
Because that's the one that usually people are like. That's the one people are usually like, what are you doing?
I got to meet Crispin Glover and interview him.
I got to interview him too.
And it was as odd an experience as you would think.
Yeah, I didn't meet him in person. We just did email.
I met him in person.
Oh yeah, then that would be. I could not make eye contact with him.
I think I have a personal thing when I don't like what. This is just my own philosophy, but I don't like fake eccentrics.
Yes.
And we've all met them.
Yes.
They're pretending to be something they're not.
Totally.
Crispin Glover.
Authentic eccentric.
Authentic eccentric.
Yeah.
Very.
Yeah. No, I really, that it was one of the most bizarre email interviews I've ever done in my whole life.
Yeah.
We didn't even talk on the phone.
And I think we get confused because he is ridiculously endearing in Back to the Future, right?
So endearing.
I mean, that was a big career start for him.
Sure.
And then things went very strange.
Well, I feel like he ended up typecast, and then he started to do his own weird stuff. Yeah. Like real legit weird stuff.
Clown stuff.
I could not watch Wilbur, the rat one.
Yeah, no.
Like, I'm too afraid of rats to be able to watch that, so I couldn't handle that. And so I think seeing him in Charlie's Angels, I actually do legitimately remember being in the theater watching this movie and it feeling like quite an event for me. Like, I was not thinking it would be very much. Like, I thought the premise was stupid. I was still in my sort of like early like, feminism has to be more serious, right? You know? And I was not anticipating a lot. I thought it was going to be sexist and stupid and whatever. And I can't remember why I was going, like maybe with friends, just to not be a full stick in the mud.
I think we know why you were there. Sam Rockwell.
Well, I didn't know that I had a thing for Sam Rockwell until
that was
that
the awakening.
That was an awakening and a half. Like that was when you leave the theater. And the wildest part is the next year, I remember being in New York, and I was at this vegetarian restaurant. Maybe it was 2 years later, and I was in this vegetarian restaurant, and he was in the restaurant. We were the only, him, and he was with that guy, Goran.
The one from St. Elsewhere?
He's like an older, white dude. He was in the Kevin Spacey House of Cards one that you're talking.
Oh.
Maybe his name's not Goran. Sorry.
Oh.
Sorry, not Goran.
I usually use names.
I know. He was in House of Cards. He's the
Okay.
one who has the affair with the like sort of underage girl in the big the first season.
Is he the one that is in the movie who plays Hemingway? Is he bald?
He's bald.
Yeah.
Yes.
So he in Midnight.
Him and Sam Rockwell were having lunch together at this vegetarian
that's a good
restaurant.
star sighting.
I know. And I was with my mom, and I kept being like, "Mom, that's Sam Rockwell," and she's like, "Who?" And I was like, "Mom, that's Sam Rockwell," and she's like, "I've never heard of him," and I was like, "But and the other guy he's with," and she's like, "Yeah, no, nothing." Do we have to order tofu? Yeah, that was and so I just sat across the restaurant from him. And I am not good at celebrity sightings sometimes if it's someone that I really am super into. Like, I had to sit next to Lisa Bonet at a table once at the Cactus Club here in Vancouver. I was an embarrassment.
Yeah, did you talk to her?
No.
Did you
I just
touch her?
stared at her the whole time, and Jason Momoa and their baby.
I would have done the same thing.
I could not look away.
I would not have been able to as well.
My cousin, 15 years younger than me, who was a teenager at the time, was like, "You have to stop this." I was like, "I know, I'm a fully grown adult, but that's Denise."
Yeah, Huxtable.
I love Denise Huxtable.
Yeah, and
Can't
that
stand
concludes
Cosby's. Anyway,
our review
of
Charlie's Angels.
Sorry. Normally I keep us on track a bit better. I'm so sorry. But apparently Sam Rockwell's Dancing Pants just sent me on a journey.
We haven't even mentioned the Angels.
Oh my God. Who? Charlie's Angels? This is a movie called Sam Rockwell Dances.
And Kelly Lynch's weird. Kelly Lynch?
Yeah. I know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is Kelly Lynch. Yeah.
It is Kelly Lynch, yeah. Anyway, okay. Charlie's Angels, the reboot is out now, so we're checking in on the film from the year 2000. It's a American action comedy film directed by Mick G., written by Ryan Rowe, Ed Solomon, and John August. And it's the first installment in the, very short-lived film series franchise. Unlike the original series, which had dramatic elements, this is largely comic.
It was very dramatic. There were lots of times where I thought they might die.
It's a really fun movie.
I thought it was a lot of fun.
Even though stuff does not hold up sometimes.
No, it does not.
Yeah.
So just in case there was some reason you don't know what the plot is of this, a trio of elite private investigators armed with the latest in high-tech tools, high-performance vehicles, martial arts techniques, and an array of disguises unleash their state-of-the-art skills on land, sea, and air to track down a kidnapped billionaire-to-be and keep his top-secret voice identification software out of lethal hands.
That's excellent. In case you didn't understand who the Angels are, they are the private investigators, and they are Cameron Diaz as Natalie Cook, Drew Barrymore as Dylan Sanders, and Lucy Liu, all hail Lucy Liu, as Alexandra Alex Monday.
Do they ever say their last names? I missed that.
I mean, I don't think so. It's mostly Nat, Dylan, and Alex.
Right.
But,
Yes.
I got it. I got the names from Wiki, so I thought, well, just put them in there.
Let's make this proper.
Proper.
Let's give
proper.
them. I like when we have the villain's last name. Well, villains always need a last name.
They do. Eric Knox is a great
Yes.
villain name. Roger Corwin, also a good villain name. Vivian Wood is a great villain name for Kelly Lynch. And the Thin Man.
Now, I was doing one of those searches today, which was 10 things you didn't know about Charlie's Angels.
Oh, yeah.
And Crispin Glover, apparently, this is another fun thing about obviously working with him, is high standards.
Yeah.
And did not like any of the script and insisted that his part be silent.
That's fantastic. That is such a great character choice for him. So I know that this is like getting ahead, but do you remember in the second one where him and Drew Barrymore's character end up having like a bit of a love affair?
That Justin Theroux?
No, well, she is with Justin Theroux technically, but that's like as a sort of setup thing.
I don't remember Full Throttle very well.
I don't remember Full Throttle that well either, but I know that they end up picking up on the chemistry, even though he's like an assassin who ripped out her hair. But Dylan doesn't have great taste in men sometimes. She
does not. That has been. I'm not going to say Tom Green wasn't cute.
Oh my God, I forgot how much the Chad factors in, which isn't he doesn't factor in.
They were dating at the time, Drew and Barrymore.
They were
married, right?
Yeah. They were married for like 6 months or something.
Yeah.
But I really like the fact that Tom Green can take a tiny, dumb part and make it memorable.
I'd like to call someone Starfish too.
Starfish is such a great. It's so name. Cute. Yeah. He's obviously something special going on there.
Yeah.
But I did enjoy.
So that's when her good taste in men is Chad.
And that I know that's
in this movie.
That's terrible, right?
Yeah.
Like her bad taste in men is Eric Knox. Although honestly, who would not sleep with him except for you? Especially because at that point, he's just playing kind of like bumbling idiot, or slightly awkward, techie billionaire kind of thing. No, he doesn't play it up too much.
Probably in the year 2000, before we knew things, I would have just been so into hanging out with Bill Murray.
Yeah, again, before we knew things. Yeah.
As
no,
in
I know.
many of our reviews.
So many.
Yeah,
no, I know.
Things come out.
I know.
I almost, I had to gloss over a Woody Allen movie a few minutes ago. So this is what happens.
Yeah.
This is what happens in the world.
Ugh.
Yes, but so in 2000, that's where I would have been.
Yeah, oh no, completely. In 2000, I was excited that Bill Murray was in this film.
Yes.
In 2019, I'm like, I will tolerate this.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And so, that's one of the many things that have changed.
And we no longer use tiny Nokia phones.
We don't Palm Pilots.
Palm Pilots.
I also noticed, and we don't dress up like other people and make their accents.
Oh my God. There is so much horrifying racism and cultural appropriation in this film.
Ooh.
Wow. Honestly, at one point, I
Yeah.
actually had to stop the movie and say, is Drew Barrymore in brownface in this scene? And it's hard to tell because the next scene, she's definitely not in the belly dancing.
Oh, yes, yeah, okay.
In the next scene, she's definitely not. But I was like, I fully expect that is actually something this movie would have done.
Yeah.
Because, again, long live Lucy Liu and her sort of constant sort of like gentle, like course correction on her character colleagues' racism.
Well, here's another little bomb to
Yeah.
drop on this and the 10 things
Oh my
I
God,
read.
did Lucy Liu ad-lib all those things?
No. But originally, get this. You're just going to fall off your chair.
Oh,
so
no.
I'm sorry about this. But originally, the part of Vivian Wood was an Asian actress, but then they hired Lucy Liu, so...
So they couldn't have two Asian women in the... Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because I noticed there's only one white person in this movie.
Oh, of course, yeah. I mean, all the rest are definitely not white.
Yeah, definitely.
100%.
Can't have two white people in a movie.
This is... Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. Wow.
Instead of falling off your chair, I just made you say a sort of numbing wow.
A numbing wow.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
It also went through a ridiculous number of script writes.
Oh, I can only... the script is terrible.
And the number of actresses that really wanted to be in this
Yeah, I can see that too.
was quite astounding. Like, everybody.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. This is one of the things about this movie that is while I was watching it, I was really interested in, like, how Mick G and all his Mick G-ness, like, you know, this was really sort of like a vibrant introduction to, like, what his movie world could look like.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yes, like, you know that there is, like, so much in service of the male gaze in a lot of ways. But I also, like, Drew Barrymore and her film company, they are executive producers of this film.
She apparently took a cut as well.
Like, she's the money behind this.
Yeah.
And so that's why that's one of the reasons that I think that this movie, even though the script is so terrible, one of the reasons I think this movie is actually so fun and somewhat subversive is that, like, she's in control.
Yeah.
Like, it's Mick G directing, but, like, she's the money behind it. She's in control of all these things. And also, one of the things that sort of, you know, is one of the things about Charlie's Angels is that they are always the smartest people in the room, and they're always throwing it back sort of in men's faces.
Yeah, we don't care what you think of us.
Stereotypes
We're fine.
of
Yep.
like of this sort of like gross sort of all of these sort of like ideas of like women just there as eye candy. They use that against these men.
Yeah.
And all of these characters, like all of these male characters, are 100% just
Bamboozled.
ineffectual
Yeah,
idiots
exactly.
who like sort of are the victims of their own sexism.
And they're all, and like, Cameron Diaz is so sweet in this.
She's so fun in this movie.
So fun.
Yeah.
So corny.
Yeah.
Like, it is, and not as bad a dancer as I thought she'd be.
No, you know what? I think, like, she was a very winning actress in this film. Like,
Yeah.
I think she also gets a chance to, like, Natalie is kind of, you know, she's like a bit of a ditz. Like, that's her sort of thing.
Yeah.
But she's also incredibly smart, knows about like everything, like animal species, and she can
Well, they're all
speak
very smart.
multiple languages.
Yeah,
all of
exactly.
them are brilliant.
They don't have anything to prove to anyone. I think that's what I really like about these characters.
Yeah.
That we're going to wear what we want. We know what we're good at we do. We get the job done. And then we go to a vacation.
Yeah, like they're there to get a job done. They all have like certain elements, and I think they get at it. They have certain elements of sort of issues with men, which is one of the things that sort of manifests in how like Charlie is this like invisible person and that, you know, and they never meet him and they never see him, and Bosley is their caretaker or whatever. And in the new film, Elizabeth Banks is Bosley. So I think that'll be sort of an interesting script flip to a certain extent. But like they sort of none of them are terribly successful in their romantic lives, to a certain extent.
Well, I think
Cameron Diaz is getting it right.
yeah,
but,
and
like, Natalie's getting it right with
Lucy
Luke
Liu
Wilson.
and her dating Matt. Well, how come his name's not in here?
Oh, I think
Matt.
I think I just forgot. Matt LeBlanc.
Matt LeBlanc. Why couldn't I think? Because I was thinking Matthew Perry.
Probably,
Matt
yeah.
LeBlanc. Matt LeBlanc.
Yeah.
Matt LeBlanc.
I mean, he's just phoning it in as Joey.
No, it's fine.
It's fine. Like,
Which they seem to be happy together. Things are
well,
okay.
she's lying to him all the time, and he doesn't know what she
That-
does. He does think that she's a bikini waxer,
Yes.
and that, like, I mean, they're not choosing men who are, I would say, like, they're functional equals.
They don't have time for that.
They don't have time for that.
They do not have time.
They
and
just,
and also little scene in there where it's when Luke Wilson calls Cameron Diaz, and she's taking his call.
yeah.
And she's thinking about hanging up, and then she says that thing to Kelly Lynch, which is, "Do you know how hard it is to meet a quality man in this city?"
Yes, it's a very
Very funny.
yeah, it is
And
funny.
that is a
like
joke
one of
on
the-
how lame everybody is in this, and awful.
Yeah.
And she meets a very nice man.
Yeah.
Very kind.
Yeah, yeah. And it's one of the only funny lines in this movie. Like,
Probably.
This movie is, I can't even, like, for how fun it is,
Yeah.
for the action sequences, like, it is getting by.
I didn't
hard.
go to IMDb to look up memorable quotes.
Well, I did, because I
And
was
were
looking
there
for
any?
anything. Oh my God, there's
No.
almost nothing.
No, I can
but, like,
imagine.
But honestly, like, it gets by, and it owes everything, really, to, like, the charm of the three women.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
yeah.
honestly.
It is that. And I guess it's a pretty big production, so it feels really lush. And obviously, another thing that we were doing a lot of in 2000 was that slow motion martial arts
Oh
stuff.
my God.
So The Matrix was just 1999.
The Matrix had already been out.
Yeah,
and
so this was in that Crouching
But the Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Matrix.
There, sorry, speaking of Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Yeah.
I would just like to, so basically, all the things, we usually like to look up a ton of articles, and usually I do like a bunch of research, and I read a bunch of things, but this one article from Refinery 29 by Ann Cohen just last month in October, so it may be 2 months by the time this comes out, but anyway, it's so good, and we'll link to it in our show notes, but basically, male reviewers had so many ridiculous things to say. And I specifically want to, so obviously, like, Entertainment Weekly, Owen Gleiberman is kind of, he's gross. He talks about how she's being attacked in a chair, and she's kicking her legs, clad in long black pants, right into the air, cocking them open like a V, presumably for victory rather than virgin. Which, what is that line?
Virgin?
Yeah. Roger Ebert called it eye candy for the blind and, quote, a movie without a brain in its three pretty little heads. But Tom McCarthy from Variety goes above and beyond. What with this and Ang Lee's similarly female slanted Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, poised to dominate the action market through the holidays, slighted-feeling boys may start wanting to get some of their own back.
I don't have any words.
I know that these kinds of reviews don't really surprise me anymore, and yet at the same time, I just can't help but think
This could be written right now.
that's the thing.
This
These
is not
reviews
dated.
are 20 years ago,
Yeah,
but
but
they
it's not-
could
it's
be
not-
fresh right now.
yes.
But we would have a more active conversation deriding these people
Well,
into
even
the
Elizabeth
ground.
Banks. So the new this Charlie's Angels reboot
Yeah.
did not go super well at the box office.
Yeah, but I've heard it's great, actually.
Yeah, but I heard and people saying all kinds of like, did this need to get done? And Elizabeth Banks is like, literally, you've made Spider-Man how many times?
Yeah.
Like,
in the last 20 years,
Yes.
we've had 3 different Spider-Mans in 3 different sort of things.
Yeah, and yet this is the one that you get franchise fatigue off of?
Uh-huh. Of course. I mean, yes, I know. I mean, I think there are some fair criticisms about Charlie's Angels
Sure.
as an entity.
Yeah.
And I am open to having sort of those conversations because I do,
It's not a great movie, but you know what? What's unfair about this is is Con Air.
No, and nobody questions whether
Face
that
Off
had to
or
be
FaceTime or
Face Off.
Face Off. I got it right.
Face Off
Okay.
is fantastic, by the way. But anyway, no, I know. I know, but it's ridiculous. Like,
and I will watch terrible action films because I think they're fun.
yeah.
And like a James Bond movie is to me dumb.
The last 15 years have given us the last 12 years have given us 3 Expendables films.
How many Fast and Furious?
9.
Tokyo Drift.
There are 9 Fast and Furious films.
Okay.
And at least one spin-off, if not 2.
And they're all dumb.
Uh-huh.
They're very dumb.
Yeah. No,
and
I know.
Almost everything Nicolas Cage has done is really bad.
Yeah.
And yet,
I know.
I still managed to find a way to go, well, that was dumb, but it was okay.
Yeah.
Why is it so awful to make this movie with women in it? I still have to keep hearing men go, Booksmart wasn't that great. You had an erection the whole time you're watching Superbad, and you can't watch Booksmart.
Well, I mean, let's face it. Doesn't Jonah Hill? No, it's.
Well, that's kind of funny because they drew all those penises in it too.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
It was just all the penises. It was competition.
The penis was in my head.
In
That's
your
what
head the
happened,
whole
and
time.
It did, yeah.
One of the things one of the things I really enjoy, it was a huge hit. The 14th most successful film in a year that also included Gladiator and Aaron Brockovich and Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. I loved hearing Destiny's Child, Independent Woman. I forgot that song was
from that
movie.
Yeah.
And I remember and I do remember leaving the theater having a really feeling like I'd had kind of a good time in a way that I had not expected to.
Yeah, no, and I'm watching it again.
Yeah.
We have brought up the concerns, which are fair.
Yes, it's racist. It's not going to hold up well at all.
Yeah, no, but it was a lot of fun. And here's another thing that you can't fake, as much as maybe people say you can. There was a real camaraderie between those 3 women, and I know that they're still friends.
Yes.
And you can tell.
Yeah.
There's a lot of fun that they're having. Nobody feels like they're, getting a paycheck kind of thing, right? Which also I don't judge.
No,
but I'm
of course.
just saying everyone seems to be enjoying themselves in on this. We're having a great time. This is a super fun thing to work on. I get to hang out with my friends. It's crazy times. Here's a movie.
Yeah. And I was thinking I was obsessed. Lucy Liu's hair is so good in this film.
Gosh.
It's so beautiful. And I was just I really like her. And I feel like at that point we had really had sort of Ally McBeal was kind of ending or over already. And I felt like she belonged on the big screen. And this movie really delivered that in a big way.
And I feel like all 3 of them in their careers have gone on to places quite admirable.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? In terms of their lives. And I mean, I think it's sad that Cameron Diaz has quit acting. I mean,
but she didn't want to do it.
If she didn't want to do it,
Yeah.
that's fine. And her kind of exit was writing that book about aging.
Yeah.
Which, when someone's 40 and they're discussing aging, is kind of a little bit
well, Hollywood, right?
I know,
yeah.
Hollywood.
Yeah.
And I think we the constant narrative about Cameron Diaz was she can't get a man.
Oh,
if you remember those.
I remember those. She's married to the
Benji
Madden.
Yeah.
Or maybe does she have Benji Madden or the other Madden?
Joel?
Yeah, is it Joel or Benji? One of them's with Nicole Richie.
Yeah.
One of them.
And they all seem very happy.
Yeah.
And you never see paparazzi pictures of them, or very, very, very rarely.
Not anymore. They've sort of Nicole Richie has stepped back from all that.
Yeah, and you'll see them sometimes. I think one of them was on The Voice in Australia, so they were hanging out there and stuff.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's a real triumph.
And honestly, Drew Barrymore, I don't think Santa Clarita Diet was perfect, but it was really fun.
Yeah, and she has her makeup company.
Well, she's also going to have her own daytime talk show.
And I do, and
I know you love a daytime talk show.
Oh, I do.
Yeah.
And I've been enjoying seeing the Kelly Clarkson. Apparently that's going gangbusters too.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, the thing I like, I know that we did Never Been Kissed earlier this year, which was
that's not her fault.
But she did produce it.
She did.
No, it wasn't good.
No,
it was bad.
No, it was good, but we like her.
We like her in it.
Yes.
And that's the thing. I continue to really like her.
And The Wedding Singer is probably one of my favorite rom-coms.
I really do love The Wedding Singer.
It's
too.
amazing.
Yeah,
it really is good.
It's weirdly good for an Adam Sandler film.
Yes, I would say that.
Yeah.
Whereas, and I think I've seen in almost all Adam Sandler movies, which is a weird thing to admit. But, sometimes if you're down, an Adam Sandler movie always has a very, very, well, maybe not the Madison golf things, right? But those Mr. Deeds, they're very sweet.
This one of the things that I really loved so much is that the outfits are really fun.
Everybody has such a unique look to it.
Yes.
And honestly, Cameron Diaz, your ass. Sorry, I'm going to say it. I mean, everyone knew.
I mean, it's a fine butt.
I'm just saying, it's a lot in there. Like, everyone really wanted, from her waking up, dancing.
Her butt's in it a lot.
Her butt is in it a lot.
But again, it doesn't feel, I mean, yes, I understand, like, it does satisfy a male gaze, definitely.
Satisfy my female gaze, too.
But that's the thing, like, and I'm sure it did satisfy many female gazes, for sure.
Yes.
But it also always feels winking and fun.
No, it doesn't.
It never feels like super exploitative.
It feels like people in shape, women in shape, and I'm wearing this, and you know what's a good part of my body? This part right here. Let's just...
I will take all the butts. I love watching Lizzo twerk. I love watching Cameron Diaz twerk. It's all fun. It's all super fun. And it's not twerking that Cameron Diaz is doing in this film. I understand that. But one of my favorite disco moves is that arm one with I don't know what the official name of it is, but where you swing the arm and pivot the hip. And I just think that's one of the most fun disco moves in the world.
I do love that whole scene. Actually, with her dancing in that club and Luke Wilson thinking she's so great and she's awful. Well, it's very sweet.
I think she's actually a fine dancer. What I think it is,
Soul Train is not.
It's what we discover is that only she hears the music, and that's that's a good way to go about that scene.
And it was also a very funny making fun of white women scene.
Yes.
Which I also appreciate.
Yes.
That was very, very funny. It's very awkward. And them not really noticing that they're out of place is kind of funny. I
mean, it's right there in the sort of white privilege handbook.
No,
right?
it is exactly,
yeah,
and that's why it was so good.
Yeah,
right? They're like, "What? I'm not. This isn't for us." And no,
yeah,
this is not. For you.
Yeah, no, and I think like even all the impossible, ridiculous moments. Like, where, like, so for example, when Drew Barrymore gets shot out of the window and is hanging by her sheet.
Yeah.
And then has to, like, fall and, like.
Do you know 10 Things I Read?
10 Things, tell me.
That's the house that E.T., that's where Lil Gertie lived.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
The one below, not the one above.
Yeah, the one she fell into. And the little boys were playing video game. When she came in, that was the actual house.
Wow. Drew Barrymore really coming full circle in that one.
My friend used to always call Drew Barrymore Little Gertie, which after a while I had to go, stop. It's creeping me out.
Yeah, fair.
She's not Little Gertie anymore.
Not anymore.
She is not Little Gertie.
Not anymore.
I mean, I was endeared as much as the next person.
Yeah. I think, like, I feel like she is just always having fun on screen. And I really feel like that was we all know that was a very difficult journey for her.
Yeah.
And it's just always so nice to see her, like, just chilling out. I will argue that she did not do a moonwalk, and I was very displeased. I still remember it displeased me the first time I saw it, and it displeased me now.
Yeah. I didn't pay that close attention.
She did not moonwalk out of there. She just did like a weird, like, backwards.
But they played a little bit of Billie Jean.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That eagle eyes for you.
Well, when I am told that someone is going to moonwalk out of an action sequence.
Standards.
I want to see a moonwalk.
Yeah.
And I feel disappointed that Drew Barrymore did not attempt a moonwalk. Now, granted, she was wearing a very chunky shoe because it was the year 2000. So maybe that's really hard to moonwalk in a chunky shoe.
Oh, excuse me. She had just beat up 10 men.
Yeah, you can beat up 10 men in a chunky shoe, but are you going to be able to slide and moonwalk?
Well, another thing is that I often think about one of the interesting things about women in action films is that it goes back to that famous line about Ginger Rogers.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And, should I say it, I guess?
Yeah.
Okay. Is that if you're impressed by Fred and Ginger, Ginger did all the same moves, but backwards and in heels.
Yeah.
And that is an absolutely perfect way to describe women's lives.
Yeah. It's 100%, yeah.
And when I'm watching that, I was thinking every one of these action scenes had to be done in very not the most comfortable of clothing.
That is.
I mean, when Lucy Liu pins herself to the ceiling in the trailer, she's like literally in a bustier.
Yeah. Oh, she's wearing a corset.
A corset.
A lot of the film.
Yeah, and that's her action outfit.
Yeah.
Like there are no outfits that are particularly good for, like, there are no yoga pants in this.
I will say, no, you know what? Cameron Diaz's swimsuit, swim gear at the end, where she literally pulls the button down that she can reveal more of her chest, which I thought was hilarious because I was like, they know what they're doing. They are winking hard at the ridiculousness of this film.
Yeah.
It's a mesh back. And like scuba yoga pants.
Okay, a scuba yoga pants.
She's got,
okay.
That is a legit good fighting outfit.
When her and Kelly Lynch are fighting, they're very like peculiar outfits.
Well, she's still wearing that
outfit,
mesh,
and then she's got some kind of a vest thing.
But Kelly Lynch is wearing a very tight, shiny leather jacket.
Yeah,
that does not look like it would have much mobility.
No, it doesn't.
Movement.
It doesn't. So, and we won't even talk about Sam Rockwell anymore because that's been exhausted.
Has it though? So did you think that he did a good job as a villain though?
No.
Oh, so you don't like him at all?
No, I'm always like my favorite villains are the Thin Man villains.
Yeah. Okay.
Their
less
banality
slimy?
is so scary.
Okay. So one of the things that I really I
don't like
will
those
say,
sinister, and they're always like I've never in my entire life, I have lived a long life. I have never once seen anyone maniacally laugh.
I enjoy a good maniacal laugh.
But I've never seen it.
No, but it's kind of funny to me.
Is it some kind of thing that happens to you when you are hatching evil plans that you must do this?
I mean, I have to say, I don't do a lot of evil hatching.
I have to say that's one of the things I really enjoyed about all the Austin Powers movies. Because he understood that these are so ridiculous.
Yeah.
That when they did them, it felt as artificial as it should.
But that's the thing. I think this is supposed to feel artificial. Like, I think Sam Rockwell is having a blast chewing the scenery out of this role. Like, I don't think he thinks this is... They were somehow doing a look for him that somebody thought was going to be attractive. I recognize... And I am hard into it. No, I know you... So my feelings, though, about Sam Rockwell have changed, I have to say. I do not... I just, the 3 billboards... Yes. I was like, you know what? Sam Rockwell, make different choices.
He's made a lot of... he was nominated again this year.
He was nominated for that, too.
Yeah. He won.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I was not... yeah.
So, anyway, not sexy.
Not sexy. No. But Crispin Glover as the Thin Man, sexy.
I'm intrigued.
Was it the pulling out of the hair?
No, then they got a bit blue velvet for me.
That seemed a bit violent.
Yeah.
One of the things that I loved the most, though, is that like his character as the Thin Man is actually thinner than any of these 3 very thin women.
Yeah.
And he can dive between the gates.
That was impressive.
And neither of any of them can, and that made me laugh so hard.
That is an interesting thing, though. I have to give Kristen Glover points, and I don't know whose idea it was. Mm-hmm. But okay, I'm not going to have any lines. Yeah. But I do need to get across that I am bat crazy.
Yeah.
Bat blank crazy.
Uh-huh.
How about if I rip some pieces of hair out and then smell them really, inhale them?
These all feel like Crispin Glover's personal choices.
Right away, you're just, whoa.
Yeah, no, he's creepy. And that's why I think it's so interesting, and I can't even believe I'm going to suggest this. But I think, when we sort of... We've been doing a few sequels here and there, right? And so I think maybe down the road we should maybe look at this sequel.
Yeah.
Because I know that it is not as successful. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's successful commercially. It's just not really technically as successful. But Demi Moore
Yes.
is the bad guy in that film, and that was
a big deal because they put a 45-year-old woman in a bikini.
I think she was only 40 at the time.
Was she?
Because she's only like 55 now,
yeah,
right?
Okay,
and
fair enough. Yeah.
So,
but she was supposed to be dead.
But she was because she's 45,
40,
she's supposed to be dead.
Mm-hmm.
But that was like a big career resurrection for her too.
Yeah.
And they, I think it's, and the fact that they decide to pursue this sort of like slight romance between Dylan and the Thin Man in the second movie. And so I think like that would be super interesting to watch again on a lot of levels. And I haven't seen that movie also.
I'm sorry,
in a long
Sam
time.
Rockwell. This isn't a spoiler, but blows up. He must have been crushed.
Sam's dead. Yeah. Like
there's no hope for them.
No, he's out and Demi Moore is in as like
And another one of those, and I know bad script and creepy lines and stuff, but when he says to Drew Barrymore, you're a cat in bed.
Wildcat. Yeah.
That's one of those.
I know.
And I know it was
It's purposely creepy.
It is just makes me so angry. And because I was actually listening to Taylor Swift's new song, The Man. Well, new on that album. Love her. And it's a whole song about the double standard, about if I was male, how things would be different. Mm-hmm. And, if I was male and I had, she's like, if I had a lot of, sex with people, you would be like telling me how great it is to get experience.
Of course, yeah.
But as a woman, you're a whore.
Yeah.
I mean, and so
yeah.
Yeah, so that line is so horrible and it's so demoralizing. Mm. And I know that was the point.
Yeah, that's definitely the point. Like he is doing everything he can to be horrific in that moment.
Yet
I know. Watching him dance,
for me, at least with the Thin Man, there's some, who knows? He might like hair, but he also might be a really nice man.
He was there to kill them.
Oh, well, there's
Remember that he beat all three of them up.
But that was a good chase scene.
Great chase scene, but I mean, there's still a tremendous amount of violence.
Right. Well, we're both making bad choices in this movie for sure. Hello, Dylan. Maybe it's time for us to get together and talk.
Yeah. Yeah, both of us just like all of our like credibility as like independent thinking like women just out the window.
Yeah.
Apparently, two of the creepiest characters in the 2000s.
Yeah. I'm gonna give it a pop. I know you were going to say I enjoyed it.
It pops for me, too.
Yeah, I was having a lot of fun.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. And, I mean, again, did not enjoy the racism.
No, and I'm looking forward to seeing the new one for the same reason as I just had a lot of fun, and I like seeing women in these roles. I do.
I hear that Kristen Stewart is really funny in the new one.
Yes, and I find her funny too.
Yeah, and I like all the casting.
I'm Elizabeth Banks.
I'm a bit lukewarm on Elizabeth Banks, but I'm interested to see what she does.
Yes.
I'm hoping that it's not a film that just like entirely hates fat women. We'll see.
Yeah, we will.
Yeah.
We'll give a review. But yeah, I would say this pops.
This pops. We like to leave our episodes on something we recommend.
So I'm giving a weird recommendation to this one because I watched it, at least the first 3 episodes of it, and a lot of people really love it. And I think that we have been experiencing my own inability to be as dark as I used to be. Mm-hmm. So it's called The End of the Effing World.
Oh, I heard about that.
It's on Netflix.
Have you watched the first season? Or
I watched the first 3 episodes.
Okay.
It's ridiculously weird, 20 minutes. Some of them are 18 or like 20 minutes episodes. And it's a bit of a road trip, true romance, Thelma and Louise, kind of 2 people on the lamb sort of thing. Mm-hmm. They're teens. So it's got that coming of age thing. Anyway, it's a dark comedy. And I'm just not there anymore, I guess.
You don't like it, or you do love it?
I don't.
Oh, you don't like it?
I am so horrified.
Oh, well, you don't like it like when the teens get dark. It's not really your thing.
It's very hard and sad for me, and especially.
So this is an anti-recommendation.
Well, no, I don't. Oh. I mean, it's because there are some really good people whose opinions I value and like a lot.
Yeah.
Love this show.
Yeah.
It has a quirky soundtrack. There's that kind of, Wes Anderson sort of element to it, but not really. The main characters are fantastic. They're really great. But it's just they're super, super dark backstories, which are heartbreaking. Doesn't make me feel good when the bad things happen.
Yeah.
Which I understand why.
Yeah.
But so, and every review I'm looking up, everyone's like super gushy about it. And because Netflix is very, very crowded,
Yeah.
I think, alerting people to something interesting that's British is great. And the second season just came out, I think, 2 weeks ago. And everyone's again raving. So I'm going to leave it there and just say, I don't want to let my inability now, it feels like, to spoil everyone's fun.
Aw. All right.
So I don't even know is that a recommendation?
I would say it's a suggestion with a warning.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny because all the reviews I was reading, it was like everyone was like almost like personally daring each other as to how it's coal black. It's the blackest thing. Like everybody was definitely trying to, this is really dark,
Yeah.
And then I looked up a list. I was like, oh, what are some dark comedies? I'm like, well, I've seen that. That's not that dark. Oh, that's not that dark. I feel like we're in new darkness.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, my recommendation is The Watchmen. Speaking of a new darkness,
but that's a drama. That's not trying to make you laugh, is it?
There's moments that it's trying to make you laugh. But it's so good.
Yeah.
It is yes, deeply, deeply dark. There are definitely moments of humor in it. But it is I'm not that familiar with the comic of Watchmen. Like that's not I don't really know much about it. But I did watch the movie that I hated, that I thought was terrible. And then I wasn't necessarily going to watch this, but I love Regina King so much that I will absolutely watch her in anything. And she's phenomenal. And it is really like so far very much fundamentally a show that really explores sort of racism and violence against Black people, and I'm up to episode 6 at this point. This is where I'm at.
Is it one a week though?
Yeah, it's through HBO.
Yeah.
It's so there are elements that are an alternate universe because it's like a comic, but there are elements that are also very much rooted in history. And it is relentless from start to finish, and it's fantastic.
Okay.
Yeah, Regina King, flawless.
It's not...
Weirdly enough, also Don Johnson's in it.
Oh, Don Johnson's having a year, because I haven't seen Knives Out, and I really want to see that.
Yeah, I'm excited about that, too.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Oh. But Regina King, just forever and ever.
Yeah, I agree.
Treasure of a human.
I'm excited to... I will watch The Watchmen. That sounds like a weird sentence.
It's hard, but it's good.
Yeah, and you can tell me what you think of the end of the... You have a more... You like...
I like stuff that's like really...
Yeah.
I like Heathers. I like Drop Dead Gorgeous. I like that kind of... That's showing like the real sort of like bleak hell of teenager life while still trying to make it funny.
Yeah.
That's my jam.
Yeah, I guess. I like it more when it's like got a quirky dance scene and maybe a couple of, really sad moments in a diary.
Yeah, see, I want nothing to help the medicine go down. Apparently, I just want all the dark.
Boy, you really should enjoy that.
I should. I know. Mm-hmm. Thank you so much, everybody, for listening. Just, a reminder again that we have a live show coming up at the Rio.
Woohoo!
Woohoo! We're going to debate, is Love Actually the best or worst Christmas movie of all time?
I think I gave a bit of a preview on how I feel there with that last bit.
I can't wait.
I am very excited.
That will be December 15th. It's a Sunday. Doors are at 6 p.m. We're going to record the podcast episode first and then go into the full screening of Love Actually, which is only a win for me.
Yeah, that's for sure. Although I've seen the movie several times, I do not. I do not.
I'm very excited.
Yes.
Yeah, and you can hang out with us on social media. You could rate and review us on iTunes or Stitcher. 5 stars.
5 stars always. And Andrea Gin is our producer. We recorded the Vancouver Public Library, and hope to see you at Love Actually. It's a bad movie.
It's going to be so great. It's a great movie. Love Actually.
5 stars, not 5 stars.
Rio Theater. Thank you.